Hello everyone, my name is Josh and this is my gaming corner. Welcome. And what we're going to be looking at today is a prototype game called Unbroken. Prototype in the sense that the art that you see on most all of the cards and the layout is probably going to change, most likely is going to change. The mechanics of the game are pretty much set. So how we review here is how the game is going to be played once it hits Kickstarter. From what I've been told, probably about spring of 2018. So not too far away, but still a few months, several months away. Alright, so what is this game? Well, this is a solo horror survival game, single player only. The premise of the game is you and several other adventurers were out treasure hunting, gold searching, whatever you want to say. And they found their way into I guess a cave or some kind of an enclosed space where they were trapped, and not the entire party, everyone but you has been killed, and you are trying to now survive and make it to the very end of the dungeon. Let's just say the dungeon, okay? So you'll be fighting your way through the monsters that are in the game. Now, there are 4 levels of monsters, so level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and every level that you defeat, starting at level 1, the next one is progressively harder to get through. They'll have more health, they'll have more shields you have to break through, and we'll look at that here in just a minute. Alright, so how do you go about actually defeating these? That's an excellent question. Your life force, what we're going to be tracking here is your effort. This is your effort tracker here. This is one of your most important things in the game. Now, you start off, you have 3 levels of effort. You have your small effort, your medium effort, and your large effort. You start off with 13 small effort. That you use. If you ever get to 0 on that, you're dead, you can't be recovered, and the game is lost. So how do you get more, and how does it go down? Well, you get more by doing the encounters of the game. And this is your encounter deck here, and it's pretty much the heart of the game, besides, fighting the monsters. You'll spend most of your turns or most of the rounds doing what's called a traveling, or a traveling step, where you're basically going to be drawing 2 of these, and you're going to be looking at the card and saying, okay, well, you draw 2 of these, and you decide which one you're going to do. So say this one, for instance, you spend 1 food, that's what that is, and then you'll gain 5 small efforts. So that's a good card to have. Now, we have a resource tracker which tracks all of those things for you. Cunning is what you'll use to be kind of sneaky around the dungeon, get by the bosses, and it might be used for other things depending on an encounter card that you can turn it in for. We have metal and wood, and those are going to be primarily used for crafting. And we'll go into crafting here in just a second. You also have your food, which is what is going to be needed for you to survive. Food does give you effort at the very end of a fight with a boss. You'll eat some food, and for that food you will gain effort. Now, that's the only time you can gain it, at the end of a fight or through an encounter card. And the last thing we track is treasure. Treasure can be used for other things during the encounters, and at the end of the game you can tally that up and see just how well you did. Now, another crucial factor in the dungeon when we're going through here is our time. Alright, so you can see that each of these has a skull on it for 1, 2, 3, and 4. When we start at level 1, since we're going for the level 1 boss, we start at the first skull of 1, which is 7 times. So every time you do something, like you go through and take care of one of these encounters here, depending on which card we did, you see this number up here, this means your time goes down by that much. So, for instance, if we chose this card and we spent food to get our 5 small effort, well, our time then would go from a 7 to a 6. Okay, and why is that important? Well, if you ever get to the 0, This means you have alerted the boss in the dungeon for that level, and you immediately go to the fight. Now, that's bad because a lot of them will have what's called an ambush effect. And if you get ambushed, then you resolve what it says for that. Giant spider attacks twice immediately. That's not too good. So what you're really doing is trying to go out, you're doing your explores, you're gaining your resources, you're using your efforts in a, I'm trying to think of a good word here, in a cost-effective way, or not spend too much, because you don't want to get yourself to the ambush, but you want to use up as much time as you can right before getting there, because at some point you will decide, okay, if you don't get ambushed, you'll say, I'm ready to go ahead and go fight the boss. Okay? Now, there's some key things that we can do to get ourselves ready for that. Spending our general actions here, this is something we can do before we actually travel, and it'll tell us if we spend small effort here, for instance, we'll gain 1 medium effort. If we spend 2 medium efforts, we'll gain a large effort. If we spend 4 small efforts, we'll gain a cunning. So we can do some of these things that we're actually starting to influence our resources that we might get and some of our efforts, because some of the things that we do in the game will require different types of effort. For instance, scout. So let's say we wanted to scout, which is going to reveal the monster. We'll know exactly who we're going to be up against, and how to plan for that, and as we're going through the dungeon, but it will cost us something. If we look at our time tracker, for instance, level 1, scouting, is going to cost us a small effort and time. But further on, as we get further down the line here in level 3, it no longer is just 1 small effort and time. Well, that costs us the cunning and time. So we have to be able to change those resources and convert those efforts to where we'll be able to do some things. Now, how do we go about defeating the bosses? Well, first thing is you choose your characters here. We have a brawler, a sneak, a sage, and a huntress. And each of those are going to have special things that only they can do, and they're listed on the card here. Of course, for the brawler, most of the things that they can do is combat. Reducing the wounds, making the monster reroll their roll on attacks, and doing additional damage, which is, that's pretty on par for a warrior. Now, how do they go about damaging? Well, that's the unique part about this game. You start off the game with fighting your bare hands, okay? And they have a chart here that says if you're fighting with your bare hands, you spend 2 effort, you do 1 damage. Or, in this case, you spend 2 medium efforts, you do 3 damage. Now, with the fighting, you have to spend the damage exactly how it is on the card, and you can't double up anything. So, if I fight the monster 1 round, I do 1 damage to him with the 2 small efforts, that's it for that round. Then the monster will get his turn to attack, and then you move into the next round, and then you'll keep doing that, and hopefully until you've defeated the giant spider. Well, for example. So for the giant spider here, if I hit him on my turn for the 2 medium efforts, I do 3 damage to him, I would kill the spider on my turn, and he would not have got a chance to attack. However, if I was fighting the hyena, I would be able to, on 1 round, damage him for 2 medium efforts for 3. He would still have 1 life left. It means he would be good for another round of combat, unless I was able to do something else to beef up that attack. Now, as you get further along in the dungeon, your bare hands are not going to be enough to get you through. I guarantee you, when you're fighting something, say level 4, that, let's look at Basilisk here. That's a lot of health and shield. Well, with our bare hands, we can't even break a shield. So we need to say, well, we need something stronger than our bare hands. Well, that's when we move over to here and say, look at that, we have a choice for crafting. We can craft a club or a knife, depending on the resources that we find in the dungeon. This one may be if you found some wood during your encounters. You could spend 3 wood, a small effort and time, and you get to craft a club, and your bare hands are no longer your weapon, but now your club is. Now, you've gone for the club. Later on during the game, you say, okay, I need something a little more stronger. You can go from a club to either a maul or an axe. So, depending on what you craft from the get-go, depends on the advanced weapons. Your bare hands are starting with, then you have basic weapons, and then you move up to advanced weapons. So the maul and the axe are advanced weapons, where the club is just a basic weapon. So that's crafting, and that's how you get better weapons in the game. And that is pretty much all the components. The only other ones we had are your condition cards, and these will be pulled up through specific scenarios in the game, whether you're fighting something or you've pulled an encounter that you've gained that condition, then this is where you pull. These are pretty much left open, and you can pull from these at any time. The last thing is the skills. Now the skills are things that your character will use depending on what it is. Let's see. To give an example of that, let's say tinker. I may use metal and wood interchangeably. So if something called for wood and I didn't have wood, I only had metal, if I had the tinker card, I could use just as it said there. Now when you draw skills, they'll be after a boss fight or if something calls from that in the encounter. So what we do now is pretty much shown all the components. And I have these on the table, D6 for the monsters combat. Now when they combat, you'll just roll a D6 on their turn, and depending on what you roll, you'll actually just take that action there. Now there's two things you can do on things that have the parentheses around them. Means that like 4, if I rolled a 4 for the boss, and this would be steel, for example, lose 1 metal. Well, if I didn't have any metal, I couldn't do that, but if I can't do that, then we take what's in the parentheses there. Instead, I would lose 2 small efforts. So that's pretty much everything. I have these cubes, and that's how we'll be tracking our resources, going from 1, 2, 3, or moving those down. Same for efforts. We'll be tracking those, the time. We'll be doing the same thing, and then we have our levels here that we'll be tracking on our character card. That's pretty much it, or if we get to it, we'll maybe tracking the health on these guys with cubes. So that's all the components to show you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to set everything up. I'm going to change this around, and then we'll go through the setup of the game and then actually do a playthrough and then kind of wrap that up with my thoughts about the game. So hopefully you stick around and we'll see how to play Unbroken. So what we're going to do now is I've got all the components laid out here on the table, and we're going to start the setup portion of the game. And to do that, the first thing we need to do is set up our display. Our display is going to consist of our action sheet, resource sheet, the effort sheet, and our time sheet, which is these that I have right here. So we're going to kind of move these off to the side a little bit, and we'll use those here in just a minute. Alright, so it doesn't matter which order you put these in. It's just a good thing to have, them right here in front of you. Alright, so now this is our display. The next thing we need to do is start with our resource tracker, and we're going to be putting a marker on each of these to indicate that how many that we're starting the game with. Now, when you start the game, you're starting with 0. Now that is assuming that you're playing in normal mode, and I think with easy you start with 1 treasure, so you would mark that, but we're just going to start here in normal mode, which we're going to mark all these at 0 since we don't have any cunning, metal, wood, food, or treasure to start with. The next thing that we're going to mark is our effort. We start the game with 13 effort. I'll actually use blue for that one. I'm using these little markers. I had some leftover Pandemic Legacy markers, so these seem to fit just perfect. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to select our character. Now I have the 4 characters over here, the Huntress, Sage, Sneak, and Brawler. Most of the times when I play a game, I'm liking like either a Wizard or a Warrior, so the Brawler is definitely going to be the one that I choose for this go round. So we'll set him in our display, and the other 3 characters will be set off to the side. They will not be used for this game. The next thing that we need to do is set the level. So we're starting the game at level 1. Then we need to take the weapons that we're going to be using, and we always start the game with our bare hands, which is this card right here. And that can be set, probably set here close by or set to the side. What this gives you is a reference as to how much you actually do when you spend a certain amount of effort. And you'll put the weapons that can be crafted, you'll put those off to the side over here. Next thing that we're going to do is shuffle our encounter deck. Now I've already pre-shuffled this one. I have a little marker, not a marker card, but a little, I can't even think of the word right now. Just something to make it look a little better. There is no art on these cards just yet. So it's just a way to know which one we're pulling from, but the encounter deck is obviously going to be the thickest deck that you have. So we already got those pre-shuffled, so we'll set those close by. The next one that we're going to shuffle up and set off to the side are our skill cards. Okay. And then the condition cards. Now the condition cards, they don't need to be shuffled, and they can actually be faced place up because you'll just pull from these when a certain condition happens to you during the game. However, I just like to make it look a little nice, so I put a cover card, that's what I call it, a cover card on those just to make them look nice. The next thing that we're going to do is the final step, and we're going to be basically forming the enemies that we're going to be fighting in the dungeon. We have level 1s. I've grouped them here. All of our level 2s, our level 3s, and our level 4s. We start with our level 4s. We'll kind of move these out of the way here. And we're going to shuffle these up. And then we draw 1 from that, and we place it face down. We don't see what that is. And all the other level 4 monsters will go away. Then we go to level 3s. Making sure not to pull any level 1s here. Got them kind of stacked on top of each other. Alright, so we shuffle those up real quick. And then we draw 1 from that, and we place it face down. And the other level 3s go away. Then we go to level 2s. And we select 1 from that, place it face down, and finally ending with our level 1 monsters. Select 1, and that is our monster deck that we'll be facing. So we'll set that there. So we have our display here, our general actions, our resource tracker, which should all be set to 0 in a normal game. Our effort tracker starts on 13 for our small effort that we have or start the game with. Our time tracker, I guess I forgot to start that. Our time track actually starts on the number 7, which is the number 1 skull here. And we start with our bare hands, and we are fighting with the brawler. So we're now set up, ready to go for our first round, in which we'll go and start collecting the resources in the dungeon and see if we can make it and figure out who we're going to be going up against for our first boss. Alright, so for round 1, we're going to start with our preparation step, in which we use our general actions here. We're not choosing to travel yet. We do general actions before the travel step. What I would like to do in our general actions is I want to know who I'm going to be dealing with first off. So what I want to do is scout. We're going to note that on the time tracker that our scouting cost for level 1 is 1 small effort and 1 time. So we're going to move our small effort from 13 to 12, and our time is going to go from 7 to 6. So we've now been able to pay the cost for scouting, so we're going to see who we're up against. We're up against the Gibberling, level 1. If we get ambushed, we're going to gain the paranoid condition for the next level. If we wanted to use trickery instead of combat to defeat him, or I guess move by him without defeating him, it would cost us 3 time. Not too bad. He gains, the specialists gain the panic condition for the next level. So we'll actually be panicked if we choose to fight him instead of using the trickery. He's got 2 health, and these are what's going to happen if he rolls the dice, and our rewards are down here if we defeat him through combat. Alright, so knowing that, we already know if we wanted to fight him, we would need to do 2 damage to him to defeat him. Now, that would take... We have to follow these in the exact way it is, unless we upgraded to a different weapon here, which we haven't yet. So in order to defeat him with our bare hands, we would need to do 2 rounds of combat with 4 small effort in order to do the 2 damage to him, or a single round of combat and expend 2 medium efforts to do 3 damage to him. So we know we need to do that. We still have 5 hours before we get ambushed, and so we want to try to utilize that time to go out and see what else we can do. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and do a travel step. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here, and we'll resolve one of those, our choice. So we can either eavesdrop on the 2 orcs and provide some insight, but it will make me rush onward and probably get noticed. Or bed thick of moss, you dare to give your weary bones a break, relaxing here. So we can't do this one because we do not have any medium efforts to spend to gain that much. Okay. And if we wanted to go for this one here, we would have to commit to the next encounter. And this one we'd actually gain a cunning. So I don't think I want either one of those. So what I'm going to go for is I'm going to opt to rest. Now if I rest, my small effort is going to go up this much, whichever card I chose, and then my time would go down by this much as well. So we already know our time is going down by 1, because both of these cards are 1, and my effort is going to go up 1. So time went down to 5, and our medium or our small effort went down to, or up to 13. So we're going to place these in the discard, and now those are gone, and then we'll... Alright, so now that we've taken care of the travel step, we move the... we're going to go back and proceed back to the preparation step. And then we ask ourselves, do we want to perform any general actions? At this time, I'd like to go ahead and do a focus to gain 1 of the medium efforts. So to do that, it'll be going down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll gain 1 medium effort. So I need to put a tracking cube there. I guess I should put some on this one here if it says for 0. Should have done that earlier. Alright, so now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and say that I've done everything here. I can't craft a weapon or anything. So all of my actions, unless I wanted to do a focus or an inspire or plan, then everything is pretty much done there. So I'm going to go ahead and opt to do another travel step. Okay, I should probably just leave that off to the side. So we got 2 more, and then we'll see which one we want. Now for this one, for 3, that would bring us down 3 times and have to spend food, but we don't have any food, so we really can't do this one. So this one, we really can't do this one either because this one requires a large effort. So what I'll do again is I'm going to opt to rest with this. So my time is going to go down another 1, and my small effort is going to go up 1. And those are going to discard. Alright, so now we go back again to our preparation step. And I'd like to give myself another medium effort. So we're going to, or focus I should say, so we're going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go up another 1 on our medium effort. Now at this point I have 2 medium efforts, so I have enough to kill this one in a single round. However, I do still have some time left to play with and possibly get some more resources, so I'm going to kind of keep pushing my luck a little bit on that one and see what else I can get. So after I've done the general actions, I'm going to go ahead and do a travel step, foregoing the fighting for now. This one here will, it's actually not bad, but I can't do it because I don't have any wood, so we'll see what this one is. Remains of an unfortunate adventure. You could spend some time searching the body for metal to use. Well, that one looks really nice. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for that one. I don't have to spend anything in order to gain metal, but I do gain 1 metal, so my resource is going to go up 1. And my time is going to go down 2, so 1, 2. So we're at 2 time here. I really don't want to get ambushed, so we make it back to our preparation step again. I could push my luck and say that I'm going to travel, but depending on the 2 cards I get, it's anyone's guess at this point. So I think I'm going to push it. I think I'm going to go for another travel step to see if there's something beneficial that I can get. So we're going to draw 2. And, wow. This one might just well be what I needed. I don't want to do 2 because that would put me in an ambush. That would take me to the 0. So I really kind of have no choice but this one here. This one's going to be, my time's going to go down 1 hour. And I'm going to have to commit to the next encounter. So we're going to kind of have to remember that for our next encounter session that I do. But I do gain 1 more metal. So I'm now at a total of 2. Getting myself closer to crafting. Oh, I guess I could have crafted a knife. I didn't even look at that before. So I really can't craft the knife now because that spends too much time. We're back to our preparation step, and I think from where I'm at, I'm okay. I'll stay here. I won't take any general actions, and I'm going to go ahead and skip the travel step and go into the fight. So we're going to go ahead and take care of Mr. Gibberling here, and I'm not going to use trickery. Well, let's say this first. When we go into the fight, our time is reset to the next level's time. So this will be level 2's time, so this is really 12. Alright, we did not get ambushed, so we're not going to gain the paranoid condition for the next level. We're not going to use trickery to take care of him. I'd like to go ahead and get these rewards, so I'm going to have to fight him. We will gain the panic condition for the next level, so we're going to go ahead and pull that condition real quick. Panicked. Alright, we reveal 1 less encounter card to a minimum of 1 when exploring. Ouch. Okay. Well, we're going to leave that one right there so we can remember it. And then those conditions go back. And so now that we've taken the special, the hero always gets to act first in the fight. So what he's going to do is he's going to spend 2 of his medium efforts to do 3 damage. So 2 of those, that's going to go down, 1, 2. And now we have defeated the Gibberling. He did not get to act in combat, so we ignore all the combat actions. And now we do a couple things after the fight is done. First thing we do is we collect our reward. So the treasure goes up 1. Time, we gain 2 time, and that's gaining, not going down. So 1, 2, we're up to 14. And we've gained 2 small efforts. So our efforts now goes to 8. And now the level goes up to 2. And the one thing we need to do at the very end of the fight is we need to feed ourselves, because that was very exhausting to do. Now, we only have to feed ourselves for the level of the amount of food for the level boss that we just fought. So we would have to feed us 1 food, but we do not have any food. So if we don't have any food to feed us, that is then subtracted from the small effort that we have. So we would go down to 7 to feed us 1 time. For that. So now that we're all taken care of as far as food goes, we move back. Oh, this one goes away. He is defeated. Alright, and we leave the other one unrevealed. One of the things, besides the reward and the feeding that we have to do after we defeat the boss, is if we defeated the boss through combat, then we draw 2 skill cards. So, and then we choose 1. So we'll see which one our warrior is going to get. We could go Wrecker with once per turn. If your attack breaks armor, you may immediately make another attack. It's really nice. And at the beginning of each level, you may immediately gain the Afraid condition to gain time equal to current level. I think I'm going to go with Wrecker. That sounds very much like a warrior thing. So that is my skill. This one will go into the discard. And now we are fully ready to proceed on to level 2 round. I guess one of the first things I always want to do when I start out is I'd like to go and scout just to see who I'm up against. Level 2 scouting is going to cost me 2 small efforts and 2 time. So we go down 2, 1, 2, and then 2 times, 1, 2. And that was enough to scout, so we see who we're going to be up against. We're up against an abomination. Alright, so that's going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 health. We can use trickery as a medium effort and cunning to get by him. If we get ambushed, we lose small effort and we downgrade our weapon. That's not good. Alright, so no special combat actions for him. So it looks like we're going to have to try to hit him as much as we can so we don't have to go too many rounds. Now, in order to hit him 6 with our bare hands, we'd have to go at least 2 rounds and expend a total of 4 medium effort to get that 6 points. Now, if we craft the knife, let's look at that real quick. We'd still have to go 2 rounds because the max we could be able to do is 5, but that's with a large effort, cunning, and small effort. However, I do have the warrior, and let's say I was able to hit with a 5, then I could add 2 more combat or 2 more small effort with my power through special ability to increase the attack power by 1, and I would be able to get my total of 6. Now the reason I'm looking at the sword is because right now I have the blade, and if I do a focus, then I could get exactly what I need to craft the knife, and that's usually what happens. Usually on this game, whatever's presented to me as the easiest thing to craft is, you know, the route that I start on. So the next one will be a knife, and then the one after that will be the sword. So it's probably what I'm going to go with, unless some encounters jump out at me that kind of take me in a different direction. So we've scouted. I don't have enough right now to do the crafting because I still need medium efforts. In order to do that, it's going to take down all of my small efforts. So I'm going to hold off on the crafting for now. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the encounter. We remember that we're panicked, so I can only draw 1. And I'm not going to pay the orienteering cost, so I am only going to draw 1 from the encounter. And we have to commit to this first one only. So we'll go ahead and draw it. Alright, not looking too bad. Sick-looking berries grow in the moss. You could spend some time to pick these up. If I spend a small effort, I have to spend a small effort, I will gain 1 food. Alright, so my time is going to go down 1, so it goes to 11. We spend a small effort, so we go to 4, and then we gain a food, and that goes up to 1. Alright, so now that we've committed to that one, the next time that we run through, I won't have to be obligated to commit to it. I could choose to rest. So, I think with everything set the way it is, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed on to another travel step. So, I can only draw 1 card because of my panic. This is going to be a long round. Alright. And catching some breath behind some rocks, you concentrate on your plan of action. So we don't have to spend anything, but we do gain 1 cunning. And our time goes down by 2. So we're at 9. Okay? So we're just going to repeat and go through that again and see what we get. Our next encounter is the dark shrine with offerings clearly visible is heavily trapped. You'll need your wits to avoid injury. Well, this is interesting. If we spend a cunning, which we just gained, we'll get a treasure and a medium effort. I like the medium effort because that does save us a lot. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's spend our one cunning, and then we'll gain one treasure and one medium effort. And then our time goes down by 2 for that. So we're now at a 7. Alright. So now we proceed back to the next round. And now at this point, I have enough to craft the knife with 1 medium effort, the steel, and 2 time. So that'll be the first thing I do this round is I'm going to go ahead and craft. We'll go 1 down on the metal, 1 down on the medium effort, and 2 down on the time to 5. So now we now have a knife instead of our bare hands. Alright. In order to do what we need to do to get the abomination hit for a full 6, we're going to need a large effort, a cunning, a small effort for 5, and an additional 2 effort to get us the 6 that we're going to need to defeat this. So total, that'll be 3 small efforts, 1 cunning, and 1 large effort. Now at its current, I don't have even close to enough to get what I need, because to get the cunning, I would need 4 small effort, and to get the large effort, I would need 2 medium efforts. So that is quite the amount of small efforts needed. So I still need to do some looking around, because I'm having kind of a tough time coming up with the resources that I'm going to need. So we're going to have to spend a little more time in the dungeon seeking out some stuff for this one. So after the crafting was done, we're going to go ahead and proceed on to our travel. So we're going to take 1 card. Alright. We can't use this one because we're spending a large effort to gain these, which would have been good if I had a large effort. So I'm going to opt to rest. So my time is going to go down by 2 to 3. And my small effort is going to go up by 2 to 6. Alright. Now we're back again, trying to figure out what we need to do. If I do a focus and gain 1 medium effort, then that would put me 1, 2, 3, 4. I would still have 2 left, enough to make this hit. 1 time for 3, but honestly it's not going to be enough for me to do what I need to do. So this one's not looking too good for me right now. So, bummer. I have 2 time left before I get ambushed. I could opt to try to get the trickery. Now, in order to do trickery, we'll need a cunning, which is going to be 4. We'll also need a medium effort, which is going to be another 4 to get that. So we would need 8 total. Alright, there's got to be hopefully something in an encounter that's going to give me some more small efforts, maybe some resting that would give me 2 more. That would get me what I need. But, you know, we'll just have to see what we draw. So we're going to go ahead and do a travel. Alright. We do have a nice card here. We meet a wonderful goblin, or a peaceful goblin. Sorry, I don't know where the wonderful came from. And in exchange for some metal, he can point to a good place to rest. So if we spend a metal, we're going to gain a wood and 1 medium effort. That does sound really good, and I think I'm going to take him up on his offer. So we're going to go down to 0 metal. We're going to gain 1 wood and 1 medium effort. Now we're very close, and our time is going to go down by 1. Alright, we're very close to getting what we need for the fight. But honestly, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it. So in order to get what we need here, we already have the medium effort. We just need cunning. We need 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to get us what we need, and that should be enough to fight him. And I'm also looking at this, will I have enough to feed at the end of this round? So that's 2 feed. I should have enough small effort and 1 food in order to feed. Now if I do the trickery step, I will not be getting any of these rewards here, nor will I be getting any skills. So I will be stuck with what I have. But I don't see any way out of this with only 1 time left without an ambush. And I can't pick out of 2 cards. I have to only reveal 1. So if I get a card here that's a 2, it's going to be bad for me because I'll get ambushed. So I think starting my next round, we're going to go ahead and do some general actions. We're going to do a plan, which is going to take us down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and gives us 1 cunning. That's as much as we can do. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and not do any travel, but opt to go in for the fight. Alright, so we started the fight with the abomination. So our time is going to go up to the 3rd level, or the next level, which will be level 3. We will be using trickery to fight the monster, so we'll be spending a medium effort and 1 cunning. So we have successfully not defeated, but evaded the monster, so this is going to go away. Now, we do not draw any skill cards, and we do not get the reward because we did not actually beat the monster, we just evaded him. The last thing we need to do is feed ourselves. We need to feed for 2 since we escaped a level 2 monster, so our food is going to go down 1. I don't have any more food, so we're going to have to try to take that from our small effort, which we can. So it goes down another 1, which gives us the equivalent of 2 food. Now another thing to mention is each time that we feed ourselves with food, we gain 1 small effort. So in reality, I would have gained 1 small effort by feeding myself with food, and then we would have still had to spend 1, so really the small effort did not go anywhere. It equaled themselves out. Alright, we're now at level 3, and our condition goes away. This one has been, now that we're at the new level, this condition that we had, our previous level, goes away. And we'll just put that back at the bottom of the deck for the conditions. And now we start out. Now we are in a little better position because we have some more time and we're not, confined to only 1 encounter card. So now we're going to be starting the level 3 rounds. Alright, so now that we're going to get going with level 3 here, or at least starting our rounds here for level 3, not in such a great spot. I don't have any food to feed. I have hardly any small efforts. I have no medium or large efforts, which means that even starting out, I can't even do the scouting for level 3 because it requires cunning and time, and I don't have that either. So really all I can do is just take some not even really any preparation steps for general actions. I'm really just moving straight into the exploration step, because the decision step, we're foregoing that because I don't have anything to defeat the boss. So really my plan is right now is just start going down the time here as much as I can to collect as many resources and get as much build up as much effort as possible. So we're just going to keep taking these the travel steps and see what we come up with. So unlike last time when I was, I think, paranoid or panicked, I can't remember which one, I could only draw 1. Now I'm back to drawing 2 because that condition was taken away. So we'll go ahead and do a travel step. So we'll see what we're going to draw. We're going to get 2 of them, and then we'll decide which one we're going to use. Okay. Alright, we have this one here is cannot go any longer. Time to stop and catch my breath before I collapse. Now this one's nice because I don't have to spend anything, but I will gain 4 small efforts, but my time will go down by 3. This one This one's a little more as far as time goes. Let's go down time. Realization that you just spent a long time dreaming of an ale by the fire gives you a rush of energy. Again, I don't have to spend anything for this one, but I will get 2 medium efforts, which is nice. Now, seeing how I don't have the boss revealed yet, I don't know what I'm going to need to defeat him. I could probably use more of the small effort and not waste as much time. So I'm going to go ahead and opt to do this one. So I don't have to spend anything, but I will go up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My time will go down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're down to 13. And then these are going to go to the discard. Now we basically end the phase on that round, and then we circle back and go to the preparation step. Knowing that I need to do a scout, I need to at least get 1 cunning, which is going to be a plan. So we're going to do a general action of a plan, go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be gaining 1 cunning. Now that we have what we need for scouting, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Remember, scouting is 1 cunning and 1 time. So cunning is going to go down by 1, and time is going to go down by 1. So we're to 12, and will allow me to now scout. So we have the Orc Brute. Taking a look at that, he has an ambush effect of each time we suffer a wound effect, we lose 1 small effort. To bypass him through trickery, it's 2 cunning and 1 medium effort. He does have a shield, and we have to break that shield before we can do any damage here. And if we look at this real quick, our knife, to break the shield, we have to use 1 small effort and 1 cunning to do that. Alright, and we have to do that before we can damage him there. These are his combat actions that he'll get on a roll if we get that far, and these are rewards. He has no special combat actions, so we just really need to look for how to best defeat him with this shield and what we're going to need. So hopefully we can collect what we need through a couple more rounds, or maybe a little more than that, of exploring to see what we get. Alright, so after my general actions are done, I am going to opt not to fight him yet, so we're just going to go and do the travel phase. So we're going to draw 2 more cards and see what we want to go with. Alright, this one is a small cavern, is unoccupied. You can rest a bit and not fear an ambush. Now I can gain 3 small efforts, or I can go with this one, which is a Forsaken Shrine, offers an opportunity to gather my resolve. That's only 1 time, which is not bad. We spend 1 small effort and we gain 1 here. That one looks nice because in order to gain a medium effort, that's actually, I would have to spend 4 of these, and here I would only have to spend 1, so that's actually a pretty good trade-off. So this is the one I'm going to go with. So we're going to spend 1 small effort to go down to 1, and then we're going to gain 1 medium effort. And then our time is going to go down by 1, so that puts us at 11. Okay, we end the phase up for that round, and then we circle back and get started again. There are no general actions I want to perform, so we'll go into the exploration step. I pretty much trade off the word exploration and travel the same, so I'll just kind of use those interchangeably. What we got? Metal scraps. Greenskins are deplorable craftsmen. You could make use of these. So this one would spend a small effort and we'll gain a metal. Right now, in order to, the reason we need to get metal is maybe we want to craft something. Now we don't have any metal with us. We do have 1 wood on our chart here. In order to craft a spear, we would need 1 metal, 1 wood, and 1 small effort. So right now, if we chose that, this is what we'd get. So this would be our spear. Looks like it takes a little bit less effort to do things with the spear than they do the knife. So possibly it might benefit me to go ahead and do that. This one I wouldn't be able to do because I don't have any cunning and I don't really need the wood for any reason. So let's go ahead and choose this one. We're going to spend 1 small effort. That's going to take me down to 0. But we'll gain 1 medal, so that's going to be put there. And then we're timed down. My time is going to go down 1 to 10. Alright, so that is the end. We're ending that phase, and then we're circling back around again. There's no general actions I want to take, so we'll just go straight to the travel step. Okay. We need to probably gain a little bit more of my small efforts, so either one of these I'm going to opt not to do. I am going to choose this one, and I'm going to choose the rest, which means I'm going to ignore these down here. My small effort's going to go up by 2, 1, 2, and then my time is going to go down 2. So we're now at time 8. I still have a little bit more time left, but I do have some things to work with. So now we're back into a new round. I'm going to go ahead and work on my preparation step. I will opt to craft, and in order to craft the spear, we're going to need to go down 1 in metal, so that brings us to 0. 1 in wood brings us to 0, and then 1 small effort. Okay, we've now gone from the knife to the spear. So that will be replaced with this card here. Alright, so no more general action. So after the crafting, we're just going to go to the travel step. So we'll see what we get here. And I still have a little time left. That's what's on my side at this point. Alright, neither one of these I can do because these are spending. So we're just going to opt to rest. Either one of these are the same. So resting is going to bring my small efforts up 2, 1, 2, and my time down 2 as well, 1, 2. So we're at a 6. All right, ending phase on that, and then we go back and we go up to a new round. No general actions I want to take, so we're just going to go straight to the travel. Okay, here we're going to spend a small effort to gain food. It's nice. And this is spending a medium effort to gain metal. I don't really want to do this one. I don't need the metal. We already have an advanced weapon. I can't go up any higher than that. This one does look nice because it does give me a food for spending 1 small effort, and I know I'll need the food at this one in order to feed. I'll at least need 3 small efforts if I have no food, or 1 food and 2 small efforts at the end, or at least 1 food and 1 small effort to feed myself, because the food I eat will give me 1 small effort and it'll be enough to clear the level 3. So I'm going to go ahead and not rest. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to spend the 1 small effort, and I will gain 1 food, and my time will go down by 1 to 5. Okay. Again, next round, not going to be spending any general actions. We'll just go straight to the travel step. This is really all I can do to build up as much as possible. Alright, this is nice to get this large effort on this one. Unfortunately, it will cost me 4 time, which will be 1, 2, 3. It'll put me here at 1. It's just not good. That's right close to the ambush, and I don't have enough. The large effort would be enough for a hit of 5 on him, but I still would not have enough to take down the shield, and I'm going to have to spend a little more time out. It's not going to be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to opt to rest with the smaller card. My small effort's going to go up by 2, and then my time is going to go down 2. Alright, in order to bypass him, which I don't think is going to be the best because I won't get anything for that, I would have to do 2 cunning and 1 medium effort. Now I have the medium effort, but not enough cunning. That would take 8 of my general or my small efforts to get that amount. So we'll see what we can get. No general actions for this round, so I'll go straight and go explore. Oh, wow. Okay. This one is spending 2 time to gain food, but it's not enough. I don't have what I need. I'm going to opt to rest using this card, which means it's a wash. There's no gain in small effort and no gain in, or no decrease in time. Next round, no general actions are going to be performed. We're just going to draw, and explore, I should say. This is an interesting one. This kind of may force my hand here. Now, 1, 2, 3, that would put us at the ambush, but we might have to take it because I know I don't have enough to defeat him. So this is going to spend 1 food. We'll gain 2 cunning, and that would be enough for us to use trickery on him. Now, assuming we use trickery for the 2 cunning that we get here and our medium effort that we have, I wouldn't get any skills. I wouldn't get any of the rewards. But the question is would I have enough to feed myself at the end? If I spend 1 food, I'll have 0, which means all of my food would then have to come from my small effort. Now, if I get ambushed, I lose 1, so I go down to 3. That would be just enough to feed myself, which is really a bad spot to be in. But I think at this point, it's the only one I can really take. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to opt to do the actions on the card. So we're going to spend 1 food, bringing us to 0. And then I will gain 2 cunning. And we're done there. Now, this has put us 1, 2, 3. This is ambush. We go immediately to the combat, okay? So now we've gone to the combat, and this is where we're going to fight the Orc Brute using the ambush here and do exactly what it says. The first thing we do, since we're moving into the fight, is we move our time up to the next level. So this will be level 4. Which will be the next level that we're going to be fighting. And then we proceed on with the fight with them getting the ambush effect. So once we moved into the ambush, we look at the effect here, and it's different for each monster. But this one is each time you suffer a wound effect, lose small effort. So that means nothing is happening at the present for this. There's no initial effect. It would be every time that the combat happens, we would be losing an additional small effort. It's kind of good for us because we had no choice but to be ambushed. So after that takes place, the ambush effect, then we decide we go to the battle step. And for the battle step, we are choosing trickery to bypass the Orc Brute altogether. Now, in order to do that, we'll have to go down 2 cunning, so that'll take us to 0, and 1 medium effort, so that will go down to 0 as well. Alright, so now that we've done that, we go to the end step, which is gaining the skills, but we don't gain skills because we use trickery. Gaining the rewards, but we don't do that because we didn't actually fight him. We skirted around him or slid off into the shadows. So the final thing we do is after he's taken away is we have to feed ourselves. Now that was a level 3 boss, so we're going to have to feed ourselves at least 3 food. Now we don't have any food to feed ourselves, so if we don't, we have to take that from our small efforts, or any if we had medium efforts or large efforts, it would be taken away from that. So since I don't have any food, I have to take 3 down from my small effort. So 1, 2, 3, leaving us with only 1. Not a great super place to be in to start round 4, or not round 4, but level 4. So that's going to go up, and now we're just going to proceed on and see if we can try to make up that deficit, since I didn't get any rewards back from the last one. Alright, so we start our round here. Our time is set. Everywhere we're good to go. We have our last enemy here, which has not been revealed yet. So we're going to take our preparation step, which is our general actions. Nothing I can do here. The first thing I'd want to do is scout, But in order to do that, for level 4, I need cunning, 2 small efforts, and 2 time. I don't have anywhere near those things, so all we're going to be doing is just moving straight into the travel steps. Alright, and then we see what we got here. Alright, we can't do either of these because we don't have food or wood, so the only thing we could do is maybe go with the most and choose to rest for this. So our small efforts are going to go 3, 1, 2, 3, and our time is going to go down by 3, 1, 2, 3. So we now have 16 time. For our preparation step, there's nothing I want to do. I just want to keep exploring to see what I can get. So we'll just go ahead and move straight into the travel step. If we spend 1 small effort, we'll gain a medium effort, and then we'll lose 1 time. I'd probably say I'd like to do that. This one, I'd be gaining food, but I don't necessarily need that right now. So I will just say this one here. We're going to spend 1 small effort and go to 3 and gain 1 medium effort. And our time goes down by 1 to 15. Okay, our next step or our next round, same thing. I'm just foregoing the preparation and going straight into the travel. Alright, now this one is not going to help us because this one is discard an active condition. I don't have any active conditions. This one the same thing. Spend a treasure to discard an active condition. What I will do is I will take the rest for this one here. So 2 up on the small efforts, 1, 2, and 2 down on our time, 1, 2. Alright, next, remembering for scout, we need 1 cunning and 2 small efforts. So the cunning is going to be 4 of those. I'd like to spend maybe another time or 2 doing some exploring, so maybe I get something that will help us out. So I will forego the preparation step and just move straight into travel. Okay. Again, this one, neither of these we really can do. Don't have this one, and I don't need food at this particular time. So what I'll do is I will opt to rest with this card. So my small effort goes up to 6 from 5, and my time goes down to 12. Alright, so coming into a new round, what I will do now is I'll go ahead and use my preparation step to plan. So my small effort is going to go down by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I gain 1 cunning, so that goes up 1. Alright, we know we need that in order to travel, not travel, sorry, but in order to scout. We need 1 cunning, 2 small efforts, and 2 time. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that. I'm going to go down to 0 cunning, 0 small effort, and down 2 time, 1, 2. We finally get to scout and see what we got. Alright, we got the Werven, I believe is how it's pronounced. Has no ambush effects, though that's nice if we get caught. He's got a lot of health. Holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 health. Special is to spend cunning and food to inflict 4 wounds. At the start of combat, gain the poison condition immediately. So we can... This is actually an interesting special. We can spend cunning and food to inflict 4 wounds, but we get the poison condition immediately. Okay, so if we use that, we're poisoned. We'll look at that real quick and see what poisoned is. See how bad of a condition that is. Alright, poisoned is place 1 token on this card when it enters play. Poison plus X effects. Place additional tokens on this card. Before taking your turn in combat, lose. Holy crap. That is not a good thing to have. I do not want that one bit. So, we need to find a way to damage him 16 points. Now, the max I can do per round is 5 plus another 1, which is 6. Doesn't have any shields, but man, that's going to be several rounds of combat where we're rolling his combat actions to seeing what he actually has. Whew. Alright, well, let's, now that we've done our scout, let's just move on and go into the travel step and see what resources we can gather up. I'm not feeling too good about this one just because I've had to forego 2 fights, and I'm not getting what I should from those fights. Alright, this one, let's see, if I did this one for 5 to get small efforts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that does not leave me next to anything that I need. I will go ahead and use this one. I'm just going to rest, so my small effort goes up 1 and my time goes down by 1. Next round, no preparation I can do, so I'll just go ahead and travel. Alright, spend food to gain a new skill. Don't have any food. Spend a small effort to gain food. I'm in a bad way, guys. Alright, I'm going to rest on this card here. We're going to go up 3, so this brings me to 4. And then my time goes down by 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm at a 6. It's not good at all. Next one, we no general actions. Just go into the travel. Alright, if we spend a medium effort, we get 2 cunning, but at this point we don't need the cunning for anything. This one is, I don't spend anything, but I do get food at the end, which I'll need to fight, but I can also just rest. I will rest on this either card. It goes up 2 to 6, and my time goes down to 4. Next round, no general actions I'm going to do, just going to explore. And here's what we find. We'll gain cunning. This one is spend cunning to gain wood. I don't need wood. I don't need cunning at this point. We'll just rest on either one of those cards, doesn't matter. We'll go from 6 to 8, and then we'll go from 4 to 2. What we're going to do is I'm just going to travel, no general actions, hoping I can get at least a 1 on these next card draws to see what I get. So we're going to go straight into the travel. Might be a mistake, but this is what we're going to do. Oh my goodness gracious, this could have been the best card I could have pulled at this point. Strange Spirit lets you rest in the underground garden in exchange for a gift. Well, heck yes. I'm going to spend 1 treasure, bring it down to a 1, and I'm going to gain 4 small efforts. 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing me to a total of 12, and my time goes down nothing. Okay. Alright, in all honesty, I don't see a way out of this one. This is just going to be a death for me. So I will forego any general actions for this round. I'm not ready to fight just yet. I'm going to do 1 more explore, see what I get, and hopefully it will be for the best. Okay. Can't do this one because we don't have enough time. That will put us in an ambush. This one I will get 1 more if I rest. I will get 1 small effort, and my time will go down by 1. So let me do that. So effort up to 13, time down to 1. I will do that 1 more time going to the next round. I'm not going to fight him just yet, not until I absolutely have to. And we'll go to the travel step on this one and see what we get. Oof, okay. This one is not bad. I could spend a treasure, gain a cunning, and 2 small efforts. So let's do that. I have a treasure, it's going to spend it. I gain a cunning, which I'm not going to be able to use, and 2 small efforts. 1, 2. Now that puts me at a 0. which means we automatically go to level 4. No, sorry. We automatically go into combat. Now, since we don't have the next level time to reset, any time I would have to be forced to spend time from now on, it would be spent from my small efforts here. And luckily, looking through this one, doesn't look like it doesn't require anything to make me spend time, so that's good. So now we just go straight into the combat. And now each round of combat, I don't know if I've probably failed to mention this before, is you could either take a general action on your turn, and then you can take a general action or a combat action, which would be fighting with your weapon, or if you have some skills here on your card. But if you choose to fight, you can't do general actions. If you do general actions, you can't fight, because you can only do one of those per round of combat. So the hero goes, and then the creature goes, or whoever you're fighting is going to go next. Okay, so we're going to move into the combat, and the hero still gets to go first, even though they're ambushed. We're still playing a normal game, I think in hard. The creatures get to attack first, but totally a separate game. Not that this one isn't hard enough, but we'll see. So I'm going to get to go first. Now I'm going to choose to do a combat action because there's really nothing else I can do at this point. So we're going to do a combat action, spending 1 medium effort and 1 small effort. So medium's going to get down to 0. My small will go down to 14, and that means we've dealt 3 damage to him. I'm going to try to mark this here at the 3 spot, just working our way down this way. So we did 3 damage to him there. And now he gets to go. So remember, try to bring this up here. This is the combat chart we're rolling on. So we're going to roll a d6, and depending on which one we land on, is to be what action he's going to take from these available. Okay, and I'll read those off each time. Alright, so this is the roll for the creature. Okay, so it gets a 1. This is a wound, so we lose 1 small effort. Now, I also, as the brawler, I have the ability to re-roll a monster's combat roll, which is one of my combat actions, and use either of the rolls. Okay. However, I do like 1. It's a very good roll. I'm only losing 1 small effort, so that goes down to 13. And then we circle back around to the new round of combat. Now, there's no general actions that I want to take. I am going to do a combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack him. I don't have any more medium efforts, so I'm going to just use 2 small efforts, going to 11, and damage him for 2. So he's been damaged for 5 total, and now it is his turn. So we're going to roll. He gets a 5, which is poisoned. Reduce large effort to 4 small efforts. If I can't do that one, then I choose the next part here, or lose 2 small efforts plus 1 poison. Okay, I would like to use my I've seen worse, reroll a monster's combat roll and use either of the rolls. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, we get a 1 again. That was on a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we got a 1. I'm going to choose that roll. So that means we're going to lose 1 small effort and go down to 10. Okay. So now we circle back around and do combat once again. We're going to do 2 small efforts. 1, 2. We're going to bring him down another 2 points. Probably haven't noticed already, I'm not going to have enough to fill him out, but I wanted to just finish this out and see how far we can go with it. Alright, roll. We get a 5. That was the same thing as last time. I don't like it. So I'm going to re-roll again. Oh, we get a 6. So we're poisoned. So we pull that card here. Alright, so place 1 token on this card when it enters play. So we'll put 1 token on it here. Okay. So we're poisoned, and we can either read the rest. reduce a large effort into 3 small efforts. Can't do that, so we use the next part here. We lose 3 small efforts, so we went down 1, 2, 3, and we're +1 on poison, so that means it gets another counter here. Alright, so now that's finishing that round. We go into the next round, and as poison is, since it's starting with me, before taking my turn in combat, I lose small effort equal to the number of tokens on this card. Alright, so we have 2 tokens on this card, so I lose 2 small efforts, 1, 2. And then we go into my turn, which is the only thing I really can do is 2 small efforts, 1, 2, to damage him twice, 1, 2. And then it's his turn, and he gets to roll. We roll a 4, which is steal, lose wood, 2 wood, and Werven regains 2 health, or lose 3 small effort. Well, let's re-roll that according to my ability. We get a 5. Doesn't matter which one I choose, the losing 3 small efforts or the 5, which is lose 2 small efforts. It doesn't matter because I'm now at 0, which means game over for me. Okay, so this is the end. There's nothing left. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please post them up on the channel and in the comments, and I will get to them as soon as I can, answer any questions you might have about this game. I've posted all the links in the description of the video where I got the print and play, where you can actually go and get it and play just like I did here. I know the Kickstarter will be out at a future date. I don't have anything. It's probably not even close yet from the filming of this. My thoughts are I didn't think I was going to like this game, and I wasn't even sure about the replayability of it because it's not your typical dungeon crawler. You know, you're not placing tiles on the board, but tracking the resources like this and with the use of the encounter cards really kind of put me into some tense situations where, you know, pushing my luck with the time and really trying to go out and scout these enemies was definitely interesting, and I liked it. I loved the crafting. I have to say that's probably one of my favorite things in the game, is that you're starting with your bare hands, and depending on what you find in the game, a lot of times when I was with bare hands, I played several games where the club was the first thing that I could have crafted. So I crafted the club, which then led me to either making a maul or an axe. And, you know, one game I made an axe, one game I made a maul. So it depends on what I was finding out there as to my first available option to do the crafting. I thought that was a really unique system in this game that just kind of led you down basically an upgrade tree. And you're just forced to. I mean, once you go down that path, you can't back up and say, oh, I really don't want the axe, you know, I'm going to go with that. You're kind of stuck with it, so you kind of make the best of the situation. I like it. I think it's a good system here. Obviously, the art and everything you see is going to change. Maybe even some of the mechanics. I'm not sure. This is very, very early prototype. So take that into consideration, you know, for what you're seeing. And as I mentioned before, all the art is placeholder, so it's all subject to change. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to look once it actually makes it to Kickstarter. That's it. That's all I had to really say on it. So I'll leave it at that. You guys go check it out. You know, print it. Didn't take that much, and play it. Tell me your thoughts on it, and any other questions you have. I'll try to see if I can help out. And like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave some comments out there, and just, you know, open a discussion about it. I'll see you guys next time.